synonymous with hip hop.
Right.
Hip hop was created to be a prevention piece.
Right. Right.
Against those elements of our culture. So, yo, let's do this, man.
What's up, man?
Let's go to this interview.
Okay.
Do you want to give any background on who the interview is dealing with, or should we just let the people listen?
Yeah, let's there's been, and for those who kind of keep their ears to popular culture, there's been a kind of a rift between the rapper Rick Ross and the real Rick Ross,
Freeway
Ricky. You know what I'm saying? For those who don't know, Freeway Rick Ross, a good documentary to watch was called "A Crack in the System." Freeway Ricky, a crack in the system. And if you want to get it on a more contemporary Hollywood perspective, a good movie to watch is "Kill the Messenger."
Kill the Messenger. I was just going to mention that.
About the San Jose, California reporter and journalist Mr. Gary
Webb. Yes.
Who was first to crack. Well, I won't say crack.
No pun intended.
No pun intended. But the first one to report on, the systematic introduction of crack cocaine.
CIA's involvement.
CIA involvement to urban America, specifically Los Angeles. You see what I'm saying? So, so this. So what is the gentleman's name? His name on the whose show that he's on this clip?
Oh man, I'm drawing a blank now.
Infowars.
Is it Alex Jones? Perhaps.
I think his name is Alex Jones, but the name of the show is called Infowars.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So, I'm a matter of fact, let's just introduce it, man.
Right.
This is a dope piece, man. I want y'all to check this out.
Rick Ross on the ground floor of the CIA crack cocaine epidemic. He wants to get into hip-hop and how it's a weapon. And, of course, a lot of insiders like Professor Griff and others have documented that. I've talked to famous people that I can't say their names, multiple major rock and roll stars who were in the meetings at MTV where they said, sorry, rock and roll's gone. We're bringing in the hip-hop, gangster rap, and we're weaponizing it. That's the word from the Chiefs. Then I know you want to get into hip-hop that you say is the new crack cocaine epidemic culture war machine. And then I've got some amazing testimony I can give you on that exact fact, backing up what you have to say. Tell folks what you told me off air.
Well, I believe that what they've done is they've taken hip-hop and they've made it glorious to be a drug dealer. When I sold drugs, I hid. I didn't want anybody to know I sold drugs. But now they got these guys who've never sold drugs, technically. One guy was a correctional officer who goes by the name of Rick Ross now. He took my whole identity, and the court said that he could do it. That he could prance around the country and say that he's me and take my whole life and use it, and there was nothing I could do about it. I can't stop him.
He even grew a beard just like you.
Everything. So now they take these guys, and these guys say, well, I got to the position that I'm in right now today by selling drugs. So the message that it tells our kids is that if you go out, you sell drugs, then you can become a great rock star like myself and never go to prison. And I think that that's a false message to be given people who feel hopeless.
And notice they don't indict the people that are fake and claim all that. No, they want them out there like a lanternfish has that light to get the little fish to swim over so they can eat them.
Exactly, and that's what I believe. I mean, if I were to go on tape and say, oh yeah, I sold 300 kilos of cocaine, and now you got me admitting that I did that, they would indict me for it. But the way they're doing it now, they're saying it's just art form. It's just a form of art, and I believe that it's sucking in our kids, and you turn on the radio and it's just filled with it. And
what do you want to say to Rick Ross? Because you'll probably see this video. Well, the fake Rick Ross.
I would tell him that it's time to change, that it's time to tell the kids the truth, and let them know that technically he's never sold drugs and that he didn't get his money from selling drugs, that Universal gave him the money to do the things that he's doing, that it's okay to admit that you never did that, and not let our kids believe that they can go out and sell drugs and never pay a penalty for doing that.
I mean, hey. Mm-hmm. I mean, And let's put it out there right now, Don Juan.
Okay.
This show is not about Rick Ross, the rapper. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? That's not why we're here today.
Right.
We're here to talk about the corporate influence of hip hop and how individuals like the rapper Rick Ross can really take another man's identity, all right, go around the country and say I'm Rick Ross,
right,
promoting the lifestyle that this gentleman used to live.
I'm not Rick Ross, the social activist.
No,
I'm Rick Ross, the drug kingpin.
Exactly.
That's the persona.
Yep.
That now, Ish, what I found interesting, man, and we do this all the time, but I don't think we really realize what we're doing. When the brother was using the term they, they have taken hip hop and made it a drug dealer's culture. Who is the they that we are referring to?
Hey, what did the host said? He said they were some insiders.
Exactly.
Like you said, who are these people? And you know what? It's our obligation as hip hoppers, man, to because when we talk about the commercialization of hip hop, we usually talk about it in a very macro.
We focus on the rappers.
Yeah, a very macro. So okay, well, hip hop was commercialized, in the '90s. Things changed, blah 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 blah. Yeah, we know things. We know that. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? But who were the players?
Right.
You're talking about Universal, Warner Brothers, Sony,
Epic.
And all, Epic.
Yeah.
Because hip hop was an independent culture. We talking about some of the most famous hip hop labels of all time, Loud Records, things like that. Def Jam. So when these large multinational media companies absorb these independent labels. Mm-hmm. Who were the players?
And what was the agenda?
And what was the agenda?
What was the agenda?
Yes.
They used the term in the interview, weaponized.
Yeah, man.
Hip hop has been weaponized.
Yeah, man.
Speak on that, man, because that's a deep concept to really grasp.
Well, put like this. We talked about, I guess when he's saying weaponized, it's like using the culture against those who created it.
Wow.
It's like
diabolical when you really think about it, man.
Yeah, man.
That's diabolical.
That's systematic.
Exactly.
And let's just keep it real. As black and brown people, systematic oppression is nothing new to us. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. We know it's been that way ever since the first African slave was brought to this country.
Right.
But to take an art form,
I don't think there's ever been an art form that we created that has been used so diabolically, as I said, against our own people. Mm-hmm. I can't think of an art form that has been reinvented and reintroduced to a people, especially black people, that has the detrimental effect of this new version, this commercialized version of hip hop, of rap music.
Mm-hmm. But once again, hip hop showed so much social influence, so much political influence, to the point where it was almost like it's like because people want to go, well, that's a conspiracy theory. Okay, but I can go back in history and show you some things that's happened, that's some systematic things that's been put in place, to upend black and brown people. That's not a conspiracy at all.
Oh, sure.
You see what I'm saying?
As a matter of fact, Rick Ross is example number one.
Example number one. Right. The CIA involvement in the crack epidemic in this country is public record now.
And it's
anybody can look it up.
I got to say this, man. I'm going to encourage everyone that's listening to this show to take some time and do your due diligence and research the story of Freeway Rick Ross and the CIA's involvement under the Ronald Reagan administration, George Bush, Danilo Blandon, Gary Webb.
Yep.
it is mind blowing. When you have a chance to really research Rick Ross and his story.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But getting back to this concept of hip hop being weaponized, it's as if, you know, corporate America came into hip hop's house in the middle of the night while we were asleep.
Yep.
And stole it.
Yeah.
And reinvented it, and then reintroduced it to us, and like we missed it.
Well,
you know,
but this is the thing. Yeah, because of the fact that they monetized it.
Yes.
So when you monetize something, and just basically, how so many of us are socialized in this country. You see what I'm saying? So when you monetize something like that, it's very easy to introduce it because everybody's obsession with cash is just so overwhelming in this country.
Right.
You can kind of, in the name of the almighty dollar, you know what I'm saying, you can shape people's values.
Exactly. You can like I keep saying, reintroduce hip hop as now a drug culture.
Yes.
As a culture filled with ex-drug dealers turned rappers, as Rick Ross pointed out, former drug dealers turned rappers who face no consequences for the lifestyle that they in song portray.
Yeah, man.
And in most cases, that's not an authentic lifestyle.
Yeah, man.
That's a lifestyle that the powers that be, the they that they're referring to, that's a lifestyle that they would prefer to be idolized.
Yeah, because hip hop has had a love-hate relationship, with this country. Because initially, no one wanted to touch rap, hip hop culture.
Right. It wasn't even gonna last.
Well, I should say rap music.
Rap music, yeah.
At the time.
It was a passing fad.
And now all of a sudden, now it's being it was embraced, it was co-opted, it was commercialized, and it was weaponized.
And I gotta make this point as well.
Go ahead.
Hip hop, as far as the consumer and who's purchasing and who's consuming the majority of rap music, white kids overwhelmingly are purchasing rap music.
What do they say after, because how they keep track of sales through SoundScan. After about 650,000 scans,
right,
it's all white
That's
people.
White kids.
It's white kids
That's white
after
kids
that.
buying hip hop. Yeah. There's no way that you go gold or platinum nowadays in the hip hop game without having having a pretty substantial white listening audience.
And what's so crazy is that just think about the impact that it has on the image of black kids, black and brown kids. Just imagine, how it influenced public opinion about who we are as black and brown people. And especially, and then that's dangerous because most of the people who shape these views of black people, they don't have a history of they don't have a true history of us as black people.
No.
They don't, and they definitely don't have a true history of what real hip hop culture is.
Absolutely.
You see what I'm saying?
Now, what they do have is a fascination with a violent subculture, with a drug culture that portrays drug dealers and robberies, and there's always been an obsession like this fascination with the degradation of black people. So you can produce a Slim Jesus who who capitalizes on death and destruction coming out of Chicago, and he's fascinated by that.
He's an agent.
Yeah.
Let's just keep it real.
Yeah.
I mean,
no doubt.
And and not to diss the young man, but ultimately they are basically covert agents, and these covert agents are people like you said, like Slim Jesus, kids who come from communities who really don't understand the culture, the history, and they just walk into and put on a uniform,
right,
and listen to their favorite rapper, and they just mimic them. At the end of the day,
now this is what breaks my heart. At the end of the day, there's a scenario where Now just imagine this scenario. You have an inner city African American boy with mad talent. He can rhyme. Dude